Yes, kings and queens, that was Brother Leader MBANDAKA with an excellent and insightful presentation there on the Africa Rising narrative. And as I said earlier, what we're doing here is that we are bringing in scholars and activists who are developing on and building on the work of Nana Amos Wilson. And when it comes to his work in education, a part of what inspires the development of this institution called Education is the fact that we have to set the role, the function, and the purpose of education for our people. And so if you listen to any presentation on education by Nana Amos Wilson, he engages an analysis of world politics, of global politics, in his presentations on education. So we have actually done that just now, engaged in an analysis of world politics. And now we are going to dive into the specifics of the application of an educational process that will assist us in being able to solve the problems that were just highlighted by Brother Leader MBANDAKA in that presentation. And I can think of few people in the universe as we know it who are more capable of dissecting, presenting, and harmonizing our thoughts, our souls, our spirits, our minds, and our actions around such an agenda, kings and queens, and our illustrious, our erudite, our talented, and just generally beautifully spirited sister Queen Taese. So I'm going to bring forward to you right about now. Tendamwale greetings. Welcome, Queen Taese.
Greetings. How are you?
I'm good. I'm feeling as bright as you look. You know what I'm saying? You know?
That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. I'm really just feeling blacknificent to be here, you know. This is really an honor for me.
Likewise, my sister. You know, when I first conceived of this event, right? You were one of the first people that came to mind. You know, and I think that when much of us got to know Nana Amos Wilson initially through his work in education, and I think that you are definitely at the forefront of continuing that legacy. So thank you, for all of your work on behalf of our people, and for the honoring of Nana Amos Wilson. You know, before you get into it, I'm going to ask you, as I asked Brother Leader, just to share a reflection on Nana Amos Wilson, how you became acquainted with him and his impact upon your life, your work, and your journey.
Yeah, wow. It's really profound because I was at a very early stage of developing my own, I guess you can say, you know, moving away from the system in terms of education. I think I was about 24 years old, I think. And I just started
last year.
Can you hear me?
No, I cannot say. You said you were 24, yeah?
Yes. I was about 20.
I would say that was last year, yeah? Then, yeah?
Yeah, right. Exactly. And so, you know, I've really been on a search for learning more about our culture at that stage. I was really knee deep in. I had moved from Springfield, Massachusetts to New York City, so I can kind of be at the feet of a lot of our, you know, elders and different aspects of our culture. And, you know, where I was from was a really quaint provincial type of town where, you know, the mindset was kind of boxed in. So I really knew I needed something bigger and greater because I had a passion and a fire burning inside of me for our children. I just didn't know how to express it. I had never met anyone who really understood my perspective, and I didn't really understand it either. I just began to do a lot of reading. I started with Nana Frances Cress Welsing with the ISIS papers, which kind of blew my mind at the time. And it was in my mind at that moment, it was so revealing. At the same time, it seemed a little far-fetched with certain things because I didn't really have a full understanding until I came more into the knowledge. I'm like, wow, like she was so on point with everything, you know? And so the more I read, the more I needed to leave that city. And so I had an opportunity through some other great things that were happening and unfolding to move to New York City. And I went there just with the mission of growth. I really didn't know exactly how that was going to happen, but I just asked to be able to grow and evolve. And so I was very clear that I wanted to start my own school because I wanted to work with our babies. I was real clear about that. Wasn't sure how to do it. And I remember having a conversation with my mom, and I said, I don't even know where to start. You know, it's so expensive here, and to get a place and this and that, you know, to have a spot for a school. And she said, well, just start where you are. And I was like, well, what do you mean? She was like, well, where are you? I said, I'm sitting on the couch. She said, yeah, start right there. So, you know, I was like, okay. So I began to start right there in my home, which is what a lot of us do. And it was just a beautiful experience because I began to study more, read more. I began to go to a lot of lectures with Dr. Ben, a lot of different educators, right, in our African Center community. And so from that point, my mind was just transforming. And then one day I was walking in Harlem and I came across his book, you know, The Awakening the Genius. I just was blown away. When I read that book, I read it from cover to cover. I remember exactly where I was sitting when I read it. And it was just so eye-opening for me. It literally changed my life at that particular moment, like right then and there. It had such an impact that I remember going to the back of the book. There was a school in there in Los Angeles with Baba Onion Palmer had started the Marcus Garvey School in LA. And I remember reaching out to them. He was one of the schools that, you know, he talked about in the book and all the excellence that he was bringing out of our children. And so I talked to him, and, you know, they had a program which I loved, you know, I never heard of this concept that they would not accept any educators with a degree. Only if you can come in. I was like, oh my greatness, you know, I've never heard of anything like that. But the level of commitment to say, we want to be able to train you in a way that is African-centered. We want to be able to pour into you. So that was a whole nother concept that I never heard of. And it just broadened my perspective on how impactful, you know, this whole colonized structure is of this Yurugu culture, and how much even when we feel like we're getting ahead, we're still further embedding ourselves in to their culture without even realizing it, in terms of how we learn, in terms of our ideologies, in terms of what we deem to be success, and all of this. And so what I began to see was that this was so deeply rooted into our children at such a young age that by the time they were even 5 or 6 years old, they had been so rooted in Yurugu culture or European culture that it was really hard to dig them out, you know, between everything from the cartoons, the books, to what they see in their environment, to the movies, to just everything, the clothing they wear, all the different characters that they're bigging up that they don't even know, you know, what it's about. It's just being, you know, pumped to our children. And so I wasn't sure exactly how I was going to do it, but I said, this book has changed my life. I literally, when I finished the book, I picked up the phone because I saw that, let me go a little further back. I picked up the phone because I saw that he was literally about a 20-minute walking distance from where I lived, which is where he worked, which was New Rochelle College in the Bronx at the time, right? That was the Bronx campus. And so I was just like, oh my goodness, he's right up the street. You know, I can't believe this. I'm going to call him right now. I'm rushing right over there. He'll sit and talk with me. And so I called. They had me on hold for about 10 minutes. And I'm like, wow, they got me on hold a long time. I'm sitting and waiting. And then they're like, okay, hold on, let me transfer you. They transferred me about 3 times. And I was like, I don't care how long it takes. I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to wait. And so after about maybe 15, 20 minutes of holding and them transferring me around, someone comes on the phone and says, yes, you're looking for Dr. Amos Wilson? And I said, yes, I just want to have a brief conversation with him. Is he available? And she says, I'm sorry to tell you that he made his transition 2 weeks ago. And I was just like, quiet. And she's like, are you there? And I'm like, yes, I'm here. Okay, you know, thank you. And I got off the phone, and I remember just sitting on the couch and just vowing to do his work, to continue his work in some way, shape, or form, because what it had done to my spirit and what it had showed me just about myself, first and foremost, the things that I hadn't known and things that I hadn't been taught, you know, and then looking at, you know, our children that are just little seeds, you know, and the opportunity to grow into you know, children who love themselves, who are able to reach their highest potential, who live in their divine purpose. Everything in my whole life shifted. The school at that point, and we shifted to a vegetarian diet. Not that all the children were vegetarian, but I began to study about health and wellness and how that plays a role. And from that point, it just seemed like everything I needed just clicked into place. And so when I say like he's so pivotal in terms of what I'm doing right now and such a huge part of it,
yes.
I can't think of anyone else that I could name in the forefront in terms of my beginnings and throughout, you know, reading his other works as time has went on, and just it's like my Bible. It's like literally like my Bible, his work. And you know, not everyone's book is like this. Sometimes you can get some good information, but his work is the work you have to keep around. If nothing else, for the energy and the spirit of it. If you're in any type of, if you're an African educator, if you're a parent, if you just care about our African people, and you really know that we deserve our liberation and that we will be victorious, that is what you want to have around you. So that's pretty much how I connected with him. So I give thanks for that day in Harlem. The brothers, you know, Harlem is not like it used to be anymore, you know, with the vendors on the street, where you can get all of the, you know, all of our African-centered books, and it's just not the same. But I give thanks for whoever that was that day, and for the ancestors guiding me to that particular spot, because it has changed my life, and it has changed thousands and thousands of other lives from my perspective, being able to pour that into them in a way that is whole and healing. So yes.
Well, we give thanks for that story. We give thanks for your journey, and we give thanks for your conviction to continue the work of Nana Amos Wilson. And with that, I'm going to hand over to you, my sister, to do what you do best. And brothers and sisters, like I said, get your pens and paper ready. Right, the second half of this presentation is going to be interactive. Yeah, so Queen Taese is inviting some of you on the panel, right, to interactive as she's doing the presentation. So I'm going to share the link now. Yeah, prepare yourself. So come in the back end. Yeah, as many of you as want to, right? Come in the back end from now. Prepare yourselves, and when Queen Taese is ready, we'll bring you forward and you can interact properly. Right. So I'm going to share the link right now in the chat. Click it. Come in the back end. Yeah. Wait. Watch. I'm taking notes. And when she's ready for
you, take your notes and write your questions, please. I really am a very interactive person. You know, I think everything is an exchange. It's a reciprocal process that we have going on here with our liberation. It's a give and take. So I do have a lot of information to share, and I want to make sure that I'm going to say get it all in, but get a lot of it in during this time frame. And Baba ShakaRa, please let me know if I'm going too long, because sometimes
that's fine. I know how it goes. Yeah, we have the same illness. Don't worry. I'll admit to the
just cut me where you need to, and I will at the end. I will share information about Liberated Minds and our context and all of that. I have some slides for that as well. So, what's the best way to share my screen?
So at the bottom, yeah, you can see a button that says share screen. Yeah, you should be able to see that. So so it says mute, stop, cam, and mic, and share screen.
I don't. I see mic, cam, mic, and chat, and then leave.
Oh, that's interesting. You're looking at the bottom of the screen, yeah? You don't see a share screen button?
I see, let's see, mic, camera, and mic, chat, and then the leave, the red X.
Oh, are you on a phone?
I'm on
a tablet.
That
might do it. Well, all right. Here's what we're gonna have to do. Because this thing works different on tablets than it does on.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So
you want me to send you?
Yes, please send it to me, and I'll bring it up for you. Yeah. So send it to
all
me.
Right, will do.
Kings and queens. Yeah. Like I said, so I'm gonna share the link in the chat now. Yeah, you can come in the back chat. And we'll when Queen Taese is ready, we'll for the interactive stage, we'll get into it. Yeah. So right.
All righty. So it'll take me a second.
while I'm waiting, kings and queens, yeah, just to remind you, yeah, that for those who purchased the Black Power ticket, you're in with an opportunity to win what's it, 2 Amos Wilson books. Yeah, I've worked that out with Baba SABABU of African World Info Systems, and so we're gonna get that too. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna do that little prize draw at the end. But yeah, man, I realized that I've got all of his work. You know what I'm saying? Apart from the second edition of the Developmental Psychology, I've still got the first edition, so I need to get the second one. Do you know what I'm saying? So get these works.
Yes, yes. I got to send some love out to Baba SABABU too. It's just a wonderful, wonderful energy and spirit.
Definitely. A man you can call anytime, you know what I mean? And he might hold you on the phone for a good half hour to an hour.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's all good stuff. It's all good stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Real good, real good. Always leaving you feel higher than you were before you came on. So did you? I just sent the link. You should have it in your.
I've got it now. I'm just
okay.
I'm just downloading it, making sure that everything bless. Hold on. What am I saying? Oh, I might have to share it from the screen. Can I do that? Hold on. View only. No, I don't want to edit. I'm trying to see if I can get it into a presentation mode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Hold on. Copy saving. It doesn't seem to be allowing me to do that.
Let me see. I can send you. Hold on one second.
Oh, no, I've got it. All right.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah.
One second. I can send it to you in a different form. So yeah, so all of you, thank you for joining us, Madasi Pod. I know this is a power weekend, great energy. And it's just that time, y'all. It's that time for this liberation to manifest on its highest degree. And it really all starts with our children. So I'm going to be going through a few different things in terms of, practical tools and thoughts. And so there'll be certain points where I may ask you to write down a couple of things. So please have your pen and paper handy, or your pencil and paper, whatever you're typing on. And because this is not just me presenting, but it's also for you to be able to walk away with something of value. So, all right, beautiful, beautiful.
Tendai Mwari family, thank you for watching this video. To watch the entire blueprint for Black Power Groundation and Nana Amos Wilson Veneration, simply click the link in the video description. The full video contains the keynote addresses from Brother MBANDAKA, Is Africa Really Rising?, Dissecting the Propaganda, an in-depth analysis of the mainstream Africa Rising narrative and its implications for the African world, and also the dynamic workshop from Queen Taese, Educating Our Children. The power is in the activation. This is a practical workshop on how you can develop powerful and effective home and community education systems where you are right now. The full stream is housed on abibitomitv.com. Abibitomi TV is an online portal specializing in powerful Black African-centered visual content. So check it out, support the thing, and enjoy the full blueprint for Black Power Groundation and Nana Amos Wilson Veneration. Abibi Fahodie.